What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked In Baseball podcast. I'm William Locke, and joining me for this MLB playoff preview podcast is, of course, Luis Barranco. It is Monday night. It feels like Christmas Eve right now. Luis, how you doing?
I mean, it's the business end of the season, my guy. It's time to see who shows up in the postseason. Again, I'll repeat this over and over again. It's where moments are made, my guy. It's the night before MLB postseason. We got 4 beautiful games, standalone games, all on national television. Lights are on the brightest. The TV bars are going to have you on. It's that time of the season, my guy. How you feeling about it?
Excited, nervous, more excitement than nerves. Obviously, the Yankees. We'll see. We'll get to that preview, but it's after the grind of the 162 game season. Obviously, we didn't play; we were just watching. But for the players, and the regular season can drag at times. We were grinding through it, 2 episodes a week. Now this is where we make our money. This is where not actually we don't actually make any money off this podcast, but this is where we enjoy it the most. We love regular season ball, but this is where legends are made. I mean, playoff baseball is, in my opinion, better than any other playoff atmosphere, playoff format, whatever in sports. The hype, the passion, the fans, it's just, I don't know. It's the best. I'm obviously biased, but nothing beats it for me.
It's what everybody dreams as a kid. Everybody dreams. I know, William, you played a lot of baseball. You were more of a baseball fanatic than me, but as a kid, you always dreamed of playing in October. I mean, everything that gets shown up on the highlight reels is, hits in October, strikeouts in October, errors in October. I mean, last year, I'm going to bring it up. The lasting images are Juan Soto out to center against the Guardians, and you have the Freddie Freeman grand slam. Those are the lasting images of October. There's always one of those images pasted up in October. There's always a moment, a play. This is where moments and players are made. This is where legacies are defined. Some players have a lot to ride on this postseason. Some players have an immaculate Hall of Fame pedigree and resumes, but yet again, they're missing that moment or that ring, as a lot of players would say. Again, perfect example is Clayton Kershaw. I mean, he got the monkey off his back a couple of years ago, but Clayton Kershaw was a notorious guy who struggled in the playoffs. But, he got over the hump, and now nobody remembers those playoff struggles that he had to start his career. Now everybody who sees his resume and the World Series ring he has, and it's first ballot Cooperstown.
Yeah, I will say rival fans, the teams that he choked against, still do remember those moments. But I get the point you're making. A good performance in the playoffs can rewrite history altogether. I'm looking at you, Aaron Judge. This is going to be a fun episode. We're going to be previewing the wild card round, which kicks off tomorrow, which is Tuesday, and we're going to be giving our predictions for the full playoffs. Obviously, we don't have full series that are set up yet that we can preview for those rounds, but we are going to give our predictions on who we think is going to win the World Series. So very excited to discuss it all today.
Can I also give another note? Playoffs is also it's the last thing you remember from the MLB season. So if you have a terrible playoff series, that's what everybody remembers. And it happens on pod to me where it's what do I say about Max Fried? Great pitcher in the regular season, but in the playoffs, I do remember those tough moments. A bad playoff performance, I think you do more, you're better off doing average in the playoffs, stone cold average and being bad, because a bad playoff performance, I know that's kind of, but a bad playoff performance, is such a lasting thing. It carries you for your career.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you'd rather be average than bad. I feel like that's not necessarily a hot take at all.
I'm just saying, a bad playoff performance it's always oh, you had a great meal, but it's here's what it is. It's you go to this nice restaurant, you have a great meal, but then you find a hair or you find a dirty plate. You're always going to remember that from that restaurant.
Despite the good appetizers, the good service, the good entrees, the dessert has a hair in it, and that's what you remember. And that's kind of like having a bad postseason. You're right about Max Fried. He has a 5.10 ERA in the postseason. He's going to get the ball game 1 for the Yankees. You just want to start there? Start with the biggest series, the marquee series?
let's go in order because I feel like we have a lot of Cleveland listeners right now that wanna hear this. First series, Cleveland Guardians. I mean, Guardians at the Tigers. I mean, talk about the turnaround of the year with the Guardians. I mean, Detroit plays Cleveland. Cleveland is hosting. Jarek Skubal will be pitching against Gavin Williams on Tuesday afternoon. They are the Houston Texans, 1 p.m. Tubi series of the Major League Baseball postseason. On Wednesday, Tanner Bybee is slated to start, and Slade Cecconi is slated to start on Thursday for a Game 3 if necessary. Detroit has not announced their Game 2 or Game 3. Detroit's carrying some key injuries. Colt Keith is out, and Matt Vierling is also out, both with one with a rib cage inflammation and left oblique strain, likely out for the series. Skubal has pitched against the Guardians, striking out 17 over 12 innings pitched with 2 earned runs. This is a rematch from last year's DS, where Cleveland 7 scoreless in Game 2, but gave up a huge grand slam to Lane Thomas in Game 5 in the 5th. So Guardians won that series. Again, great 2 teams. Detroit has been struggling as of late. Detroit going 7-17 in September and 20-7 for the Guardians. Guardians are giving the ball to their supposed ace, Gavin Williams, who's really taking that leap at the end of the season, second half. 2.18 ERA in the second half, 78 strikeouts, over 70 and a third in 12 starts. Last 2 starts were against Detroit, where he allowed 2 runs with 7 hits, 4 walks, 21 Ks over 11 innings pitched in 2 wins. Tanner Bybee has pitched great in September in 4 starts, 27 and 2/3 innings pitched with a 1.3 ERA. David Fry suffered that horrific injury after Skubal plunked him in the face, likely to be out for the postseason entirely. Unfortunate again. And then you got the two plate setters. J Ram, 347 average with a 1000.030 OPS in 13 games against Detroit this year, and Stephen Kwan with a 308 average versus Detroit. William, I mean, this is a battle between the hottest and the coldest team. I mean, these teams know each other a lot. Division games, we talk about it a lot with the Yankee series and the Yankees teams throughout the year, how division games are tough to win. What do you expect to see out of this series?
Yeah, I mean, we got 2 division series in the wild card round in the American League. It's the story of, the Tigers falling off an absolute cliff in the last month of the season. You mentioned it 7-17, and the Guardians getting hot at the right time. Not necessarily playing incredible baseball. They're just winning games. They have the second lowest, or they're the second postseason team ever with an OBP under 300. The numbers on the season just aren't impressive whatsoever. They don't play beautiful baseball. They don't hit home runs, but they just muck it up. And they know how to win games. They're well managed. Stephen Vogt was able to sneak them into the playoffs for the second straight season, win the division for the second straight season with him at the helm. Like, if you look at their offensive numbers this season, 29th in average, 29th in OBP, 29th in OPS, 28th in runs, 20th in home runs, 11th in stolen bases. They are not, by statistical, like looking at the stats, they're not a good offensive team, but they know how to win games. And I think the biggest story with them really has been the rotation in the second half of the season and here down the stretch with Gavin Williams turning things on. You mentioned his ERA in the second half, really good. Tanner Bybee's been good for them. Slade Cecconi has been good. He's slated as the Game 3 starter if that game does happen. So I think you got to, this is a tale of two teams going in 2 completely different directions. You got to feel good about where Cleveland's at right now. And Detroit, can they stop the Schneid? I mean, they've been just in free fall. They were lucky really to get in the playoffs. They're lucky they didn't pull a Mets in the National League and fall out completely. So it's for me here in this situation, it's really hard to pick against the Guardians just from what we've seen over the past month of the season. If you were asking me this question in, obviously April, May, June, probably most of July, I'd give you a completely different answer. But Cleveland just flipped the script in this series or in this rivalry, whatever, in this division down the stretch. And I see it as a toss-up because you have to give the advantage to Detroit in Game 1 because they got Skubal. But can they win the next 2 games is the question.
My question to you is, and this will be a question that will come up later in the podcast when we talk about the Yankees, is facing somebody, and we talked about this the other night, is facing somebody you see repeatedly an actual benefit to the Guardians. They face Skubal a lot, so they know his stuff. And he actually struggled in the last start. So I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm interested to see who Detroit puts out there for game 2 and game 3. Obviously, again, Detroit, I do like their bullpen a little bit more than the Guardians. But man, oh man, the Guardian bats are leaps and bounds better. I fear Jose Ramirez. I do feel Stephen Kwan more than Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, and Javi Baez. I mean, Javi Baez is hot and cold. I mean, he could be one of those players that we end up at the end of the series being like he was a difference maker. He is an X factor. If Javi Baez is on, I mean, he is one of the better players in our game. So it'll be very interesting to see what version of Javi Baez we get for the series.
Yeah, but I agree. You got to give the lineup advantage here, though, to the Guardians, the Tigers. They just don't have that guy in the lineup that you fear. Riley Green could be that guy, but he strikes out so much for them. And Torkelson, hasn't taken necessarily that next step in his career. Kerry Carpenter is a postseason guy, had some big postseason hits last season. Obviously, had that huge home run against Clase. But like, who is that guy in that lineup that you're going to point to that you feel good about coming up in the clutch? Now, you mentioned the Guardians' injuries. No David Fry, no Lane Thomas. Those guys were huge for them in the postseason last year. They could miss out on them, but like they got one of the best top 5 player in the league. In Jose Ramirez. Obviously, every game doesn't come down to who has the better players. Baseball is a weird sport, and the team with the better players doesn't always win. But I feel like on paper, Cleveland's got to have the advantage here. You got to feel like they have a little bit of a mental advantage coming in with how they finished the season, the fact that they beat Detroit head to head so many times when they played 6 times down the stretch. They went 5-1 in those games. Cleveland has the advantage here, but Detroit has the best pitcher in all of baseball. So if you win game 1, you just got to win one more. Now, winning a game is very hard in the postseason. I think it would be Casey Mize game 2. And then if there's a game 3, you probably hand it off to Flaherty. But I still feel like the Guardians have more pitching depth. We haven't even talked bullpen yet. But I feel like, with Kate Smith closing things out, Hunter Gaddis as the setup guy, Eric Zabrowski there, for like the 7th inning, I kind of feel like I got to give the edge here to Cleveland in the pen as well.
And I agree with that. My biggest thing with Detroit, and I think Detroit is what describes Detroit to me right now is volatility. They have a lot of really good players on paper that we look at like, man, they could be difference makers. You got Gleyber Torres, Javi Baez, Casey Mize, Jack Flaherty. We haven't talked about how Jack Flaherty is very hot and cold. When he faces good teams, he's really good, and then when he faces bad teams, he's kind of like meh. Casey Mize is another guy that I have to see take that next step. I mean, in September, he's been okay. Like, he only gives you 5 innings. He only went over 6 innings once, which was against his start with Boston. But yet again, in the bullpen, the bullpens need to not be used that much. If the advantage goes to the team that doesn't use the bullpen that much, because I do feel like if you're able to conserve your bullpen in the postseason, you have more toys to play with. You have to have length from your starters to get to the end. And that's what I feel with Detroit, where it's just like their bullpen's not that strong, and we don't know what versions after, Skubal we get. Again, we can say the same thing for Cleveland. Cleveland doesn't have that many playoff performers tested in comparison to guys like Flaherty, who was on a World Series team last year. Tarek Skubal was there in a moment last year. They're very good guys. But yet again, I fall back to the point of volatility. Gleyber Torres, Javi Baez. You could even put Riley Green, who strikes out a bunch, and that's a third of your lineup that can just sink right there. And I don't know. I give the edge to the guards. Again, the guards really remind me of the Tigers last year, where the Tigers had a very hot September, made the playoffs, and beat Houston, a team that, Houston was highly favored to win that series, and they played with house money and won that series. I think we're seeing the opposite version with the Guardians this year, where the Guardians were that team that everybody counted out at the start of the month. Everybody thought the Tigers had a insurmountable lead that they wouldn't blow, but then the Guardians got hot. Tigers played bad baseball, and one's stumbling in to the playoffs, and the other one is going strong. Somebody pregame too hard. So
they started the marathon, like we said, they started the marathon too fast. They started running a 7-minute pace, and boy, oh boy, they hit a wall there in mile 18, and they finished running like a 12, 13-minute pace. So I think I'm leaning Cleveland here. Detroit is on DraftKings a very slight favorite. It's basically even. They got Detroit at -115, Cleveland -105. So I'll take Cleveland on that. I think I can see Cleveland losing game 1 against Skubal. Like, do you see a world in which the Guardians win 3 straight games against Skubal? Because the last 2 times that Cleveland has faced Skubal, they've won. I just don't see them beating him 3 straight times. That's tough.
I could. There's just some guys that just have the juju against. But I feel like there's too much on the line, and I do feel like this is the moment where Skubal, like, again, we fall into the narrative. If Skubal has a bad playoff start, that's going to carry into next season. And, he's an impending free agent. That's going to be all over, MLB media and MLB, like, fans of galore. That if he goes and lays up a goose egg on tomorrow.
Well, you want to lay up a goose egg as a pitcher. So much as zeros.
But you know what I mean.
Crooked number. Yeah. Sorry.
If you lay a bad performance right, like in the playoffs, like people are going to remember that. People will forget the incredible year that you had as a potential Cy Young winner, and people will remember that, and people will take that to the grave in the next free agency, his upcoming free agency next summer. And for me, I'm locking in my pick right now. I'm gonna take Guardians in 3. Again, I just do think the Guardians are the hot team. They're playing good baseball. They're doing all things right. Everything's fine on all cylinders. Let's keep the Cinderella story rolling.
I'm aligned. I got Guardians in 3 as well. I think the Tigers lose game 1. The Tigers win game 1, and then the Guardians win the next 2 with Bybee and Ciccone on the mound. The bullpen wins out. The lineup, J-Ram comes up with a couple clutch hits. Steven Kwan has a couple clutch hits. Who knows? Maybe CJ Kafis has another walk-off hit by pitch.
Or we see a Kyle Manzardo nuke. He's been a really clutch bat for them, hitting bombs. So, I mean, give me the Guards in 3. I think this series is very easy to select. I may be just clipped if it goes the other way, but I like the Guards in 3. Guards in 3, very easy.
It's baseball can go anyway. It's really it's a crapshoot always in the playoffs, but these best 2 out of 3 series are just ridiculous. Obviously, I think it's better than the single game wild card rounds, but still, a best 2 out of 3 is tough. So I'm going Guardians here as well. We both got them winning in 3 to advance to play Seattle in the DS.
I mean, I'll just say this: the only advantage, Gleyber Torres in the playoffs, so that's the only thing that I could ask you. Gleyber Torres in the playoffs. In cold weather?
Expect it. It's crazy how different this Yankee team is than last year. But yeah, expect a couple errors, I think.
I mean, I don't know. We'll be very interested to see what the Tigers are. Mercurial is the word for them.
I'll also say it's not cold yet at all in the Midwest. It's still in the mid 80s. So I don't
But it'll come. It'll come. Don't worry. It'll come.
I don't think Detroit's going to be playing by the time it gets cold.
Oh wow, that's a hot take. I mean,
I just picked them to lose in 3. So
let me ask you a question. What weird weather or like environment do you expect to see this playoffs? I mean, we've had cold games. We had the infamous Java Chamberlain game where he had those bugs on him and Progressive back in the day. Weird environments.
I'll say there's going to be a game in Wrigley where it's super windy and kind of a rainy day and the wind's blowing in or blowing out super hard, and it has a huge impact on the game.
You say Wrigley?
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that. I actually like that prediction because, I mean, Toronto is very, climate
closed.
Controlled.
Yeah, closed.
Climate control. I mean, we could see a fight. Screw it. I mean, is there anybody we could see a fight with?
Like a benches clearing brawl in the playoffs?
Like Jose Bautista, Rougned Odor, like fight, fisticuffs.
No. Tim Anderson, Rougned Odor, Jose Bautista, not involved. No fights.
Involved.
I don't even. When's the last time the benches cleared in the playoffs? I couldn't tell you.
Do the Padres and Cubs have history with that this year? Didn't they benches clear at some series? I think in Wrigley this season.
I don't think so. Maybe, I don't know. I
I
can't.
know if it's the Padres and Dodgers, I think there should be a 0.5 for warnings, 1.5 warnings issued for benches.
I think they should cut off all alcohol sales at a Dodgers Padres series. Just ban alcohol from being sold at the stadium.
Well, I mean, let's just talk about it. Let's stop talking. We got to talk about your home team, the Chicago Cubs. Can't discount them. They are a good ball club right now. San Diego Padres are traveling up to Chicago to the friendly confines that is Wrigley Field. These teams have never met once in the postseason. Have met once, where the Padres won the NLCS in 5 games in 1984. This is the first series for the Cubs that they have home games with fans in the stands since 2018. Looking for their first series win since the 2017 NLDS. Cubs are the third team in history with 3 players with 2020 seasons with PCA Swanson and Kyle Tucker. The other 2 were the Phillies, that 09 Phillies that lost the World Series, and the 1988 Mets, which launched in the NLCS. You also have the Padres entering the playoffs for the 4th time in the past 6 years. One of their big contributors, Ramon Laureano, is likely out for the playoffs with a fractured right index finger, who has been really well. Probables, Nick Pavetta's pitching game 1 against Matthew Boyd. Dylan Cease pitching game 2 for the Padres. Cubs haven't decided game 2 or 3. Yu Darvish is taking the bump for a game 3. Again, William, you got the Cubs, the team that's been, again, another team that's been 2 teams that are very interesting. Let's put it that way. Cubs dealt with injury with Kyle Tucker, and the Padres, the inconsistencies with the Padres. How do you feel this one's going, man? At home at Wrigley, how's the city doing?
Yeah. Again, I think the city's a little ticked off that ESPN and the league gave the Cubs the Texans treatment, and this game's at, 2:00 Monday or Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday would be TBD right now. They kind of surprised that it's an afternoon game. I think that gives an advantage a little bit to the Padres. You'd rather play a day game on the road in the postseason than a night game. I feel like that's not crazy to say. The Cubs offense has been better. It definitely struggled there for a little bit after the All-Star break, July, August, early September, but they really turned things on in the last week of the season, hit a bunch of home runs against the Cardinals. Seiya Suzuki has been on fire for the Cubs. He had a home run in each of his 4 final games, 5 total, because he had those 2 home runs against the Mets on that Thursday game. So they finished the season strong in the last week, and that's kind of what matters, is like what kind of baseball you're playing in the last couple of weeks of September. The thing that concerns me the most about the Cubs is that the injuries to the starting rotation and just the big question mark that is the starting rotation, because I do think that their bullpen is good enough. They've had some guys having careers like Caleb Thielbar, but they don't have the solidified closer in the bullpen. But that doesn't worry me as much about as the starting rotation does. Shota Imanaga, 6.51 ERA in all of baseball, allowing 10 home runs in the month. He finished tied for 4th in home runs allowed in all of baseball this season with 31. The lead was Jake Irvin with 38. That concerns me. I think he's probably going to be your game 1 starter. And, if you look at the Padres splits against left-handed pitching, because it looks like it is going to be Boyd game 1, and I would think it's going to be Boyd in game 2.
Boyd game 1.
Imanaga. Yeah, I was moving the Fangraphs. San Diego is 17th in WRC plus against lefties, so they don't crush lefties. They're also 28th in home runs this season, so that bodes well for Imanaga. But something tells me that Tatis, Machado, those guys are going to turn up in the postseason. They're postseason players. They live for these moments. It just, to me, from an organizational perspective, and I know that doesn't really have a huge impact on the best 2 out of 3 series, but it feels like the Padres are more all in on this series, this season, winning a World Series, than the Cubs are. And I know the Cubs traded for Kyle Tucker this offseason, who DH'd over the weekend, but they didn't really do anything at the trade deadline to make their team better. And San Diego went all in, getting some guys for the bullpen, getting obviously Ramon Laureano, Ryan O'Hearn, and to add to the lineup. Laureano's not going to be in the playoffs. I don't know. I'm leaning San Diego here. DraftKings actually has the Cubs favored at -125 right now.
I mean, I'm taking the Padres, man. I mean, like you said, I'm a big Tatis guy. again, he's one of those players that lives for the moment. He always rises to the occasion. I mean, I think Machado is one of those guys that with the incredible resume, but lacks those like moments and victories in the playoffs. And I feel like, he was on the Dodgers team that didn't win, but I do feel like every single time he goes out there, he's trying to, put up numbers to finish off that resume. Because you talk about Machado's resume as a third baseman is one of the best we've seen in our generation. I mean, Machado, he's already 33, 7-time All-Star, 2-time MLB first teamer. He's a Platinum Glove winner, 2-time Gold Glover, 2-time Silver Slugger, career MLB average of 279 with 2,000 plus hits, 369 home runs in the regular season. Like, that's not that bad of a resume. I do feel like he's missing that moment. Again, both of these starting pitching rotations aren't ones that we're really reliant on. And it's going to come down to the bullpen in this series, in my opinion, because I feel like both lineups have enough juice to put up runs. Like, this is probably going to be from a watchability casual index. It's going to be at a 10. If we were to put Gus Johnson, the Gus Johnson like smiling meter, this is like the ooh-wee Gus Johnson meter.
Yeah, this is a fun series. I agree.
This is the fun series. You're going to see a lot of home runs. You're going to see a lot of runs expectedly. Again, two decent teams, but then it's going to come down to the bullpen. And again, this is a typical Cubs team that we've seen from years on end. It's copy pasta, copy paste. Who's the closer? Danny Palencia? What's the deal with him? He was battling some injury. And again, with the Padres, I mean, you got Mason Miller, Roberto Suarez, Adrian Morejon. Like, that's to name a few. They have so many guys that they can throw out that, their starters only need to go 5 or 6 innings. And if they get 5 or 6 innings, it's curtains because they have a new guy coming out every inning, throwing 100, 101, 102 with nasty stuff. And that's why I like the Padres a lot this series. Again, you can get a lead with the pen. You might as well just sign, seal, delivered. I think, that, again, bullpens matter in the postseason. And I feel like the Padres they don't have to require their starters to get that much length. Again, think about it. Roberto Suarez, Mason Miller. Yeah, sorry, I keep thinking Hispanically. Robert Suarez, Adrian Morejon, and Mason Miller. Like, it's over. It's over.
Yeah, Jeremiah Estrada.
I forgot about Jeremiah. That was the dude I was thinking about, bro. That's what I'm telling you. You're having 100 coming out of the pen. We had this conversation about Cam Schlittler. Do you think about if you have Estrada, Miller, and Suarez coming out? What do you do as a hitter?
You're screwed. I mean, that's it's nasty. Their bullpen is the strength of their team. It's the best bullpen in the league. Losing Jason Adam did hurt. He with the the quad injury, ruptured the quad, out for the season. He was their 8th inning guy, 7th, 8th inning guy. He's one of the better relievers in all of baseball. He was an all-star this season. He's been out since was it like early September, late August. Tough loss for them. But look at Tatis's numbers in the postseason. I just looked him up. He's hitting 375 with a 1.328 OPS in 57 plate appearances, 13 games.
I'm telling you, he's a playoff player. He lives for the moment. Again, Kyle Tucker's coming off an injury. PCA hasn't had the second half, like the first half. Again, I'm taking the Padres, and I'm gonna go get spicy with you. I'm taking Padres in 2.
Okay.
Padres in 2. Sorry. I'm sorry. I know if Kayla's listening to this podcast, I know she's not going to be happy when I say this, but Padres in 2. It won't be close.
I'm going to say Padres in 3. I think the Cubs win game 1, but the Padres win the next 2 with Cease. I think Cease has a really good start, and I think they get to Imanaga. And then it's a question of what the Cubs do in game 3. Who do they put out there? Because Cade Horton's hurt, and I think that's going to be the difference in this series. If Cade Horton was healthy, I'd probably lean Cubs, but they just don't have that guy. I think Cade Horton would have had an argument to be the game 1 starter. So the Cubs really won't have that guy to be the game 3 guy. I mean, like, is it going to be a Jameson Tyone? It's not going to be Colin Ray, I wouldn't think. So I think that's where the Padres have the advantage. You bring out a Yu Darvish for a game 3. I mean, how many postseason starts has he had?
Yeah, but he's had some blow-ups.
He's had some bad ones, but he's got the experience.
He's had some notorious bad ones. Let's not forget about those.
He's had plenty of bad ones.
Let's not forget the one against the Dodgers. I remember when he was traded with the Dodgers, it was like he was the guy. It was like Willie Calhoun was like the market, like the centerpiece. It was Willie Calhoun and some other prospect that the Dodgers were holding, and then boom, he goes, and it was like the World Series. I think it was against Boston, and he just got lit up.
So 13 playoff starts, 3.77 ERA, which isn't awful. But the really bad one was in 2017 when he was on the Dodgers. 4 starts, 6.14 ERA.
I told you. It was that Dodgers year. You always, like I said, you always remember the bad. It's like life. Nobody talks about the good things in life. Everybody remembers the bad stuff. Like that. Because the bad stuff makes news and makes headlines, unfortunately.
Yeah, bad news sells. He has been good in San Diego in the postseason. 2.88 ERA in 22, and then a 1.98 in 24. So if it comes to a game 3, I think the advantage would have to be the San Diego, just because they got Darvish on the mound and they got the pen.
Can he do it? Can he do it in a rainy night in Chicago?
Man, it's not. I don't even know if it's going to be a night game for Game 3 in Chicago.
No, I'm just saying. It's just like, can you do it in a rainy night in Stoke? Can you do it at a windy day in Chicago at Wrigley?
Yeah, we're looking at beautiful weather, by the way, for Wrigley. 78 degrees and sunny tomorrow. 73 degrees and cloudy on Wednesday. So it should be pretty beautiful weather in the city for the series.
I just think the Cubs did a disservice by not getting another pitcher at the deadline, especially like a Merrill Kelly. Like, he could have pitched to a game 2 or even a game 1, get to the game 3. Because, like I said, if it goes 3, I mean, you have one of those guys like Merrill Kelly who pitched really well, who's like a pretty good pitcher. He has a Team USA World Baseball Classic experience.
Who's your what is your scale of 1 to 10? What are the chances of Tucker coming back to Chicago next year? 10 being the highest.
4.
That's high that feels high. I'd say like 20%. Dude, I really don't think there's any chance he comes back.
They're saying the Dodgers are going to try to get him. I'm like, oh boy.
They were booing him in Wrigley, and I know he didn't run out the ground ball, but it takes a lot for Cubs fans to boo a player. I feel like that almost never happens. So
I mean, y'all are Midwest nice,
Midwest nice, the friendly confines. I actually just watched the Steve Bartman documentary over the weekend, Catching Hell. Really good 30 for 30.
Of course you did. Of course, getting ready for the postseason, watching Steve Bartman. You're just giving flashbacks to all the Cubs fans listening.
That was a dark day, probably the darkest day in Wrigley history. I think a lot of fans regret what they did that day. But yeah, that interesting. Definitely, I think worth the watch. Always a good 30 for 38. That was like my second or third time seeing it. Trying to exercise those demons ahead of the postseason for the Cubs.
Can we get to the main course?
Yeah.
I'm hungry. Like this is the 32-ounce T-bone cowboy ribeye porterhouse steak of the playoff weekend. You don't need side items for this guy. For this series, you don't need no side items. You don't need the lobster mac and cheese. You can hold the steak free. You don't just give me a nice tall pint of water and give me the 32-ouncer. It is Yankees Red Sox renewed. The series that any baseball fan will tune into because, again, it is Yankees Red Sox. It's a historical rivalry. It will be in New York. Boston has had the Yankees number this year, though. Boston is the lower seed, but they've won 9 out of 13 regular season games against New York. Boston has won their 3 postseason matchups. Again, their last 3 postseason matchups with the Yankees. Again, the Yankees have had their troubles beating teams not in the AL Central. I think that is very well known with the Boone era. The Red Sox are going to be putting out Garrett Crochet, Yankees' best friend. He will be out there game 1. Max Fried will be pitching game 1 for the Yankees. Again, Crochet led the majors with 255 Ks, 18-5 with a 2.59 ERA, holding lefties to a 166 batting average with a 455 OPS. 39 strikeouts and 27 1/3 innings against the Yankees this year. Boston has won all the Crochet starts. He has 3 decisions, as we said in our last podcast, 3 wins in those, and 1 that he not get the decision, but the Red Sox did come and win that. Things of note, Lucas Giolito is out with an elbow issue, and Alex Bregman, has a 640 OPS in September, but he's apparently sick, but he traveled with the team in New York, and we know he'll be fine by tomorrow at 7 p.m. William, it is the series that we want to talk about. I mean, we've been tracking this team all year. We got Crochet Fried, as I said earlier, Bello Rodon. Schlittler's pitching game 3 confirmed today by our Yankees Beat Media. I think Yankees Twitter had a very interesting moment this afternoon. Why did Jack Curry and company basically give out their whole lineup like the day before the game? Like, you're giving Cora a whole day to study who's pitching, like who's hitting. Like,
Yeah.
you said that Jazz wasn't going to hit, so you don't have to study Jazz tape. Like, obviously, you do have to study for Jazz Chisholm, but you're telling like Ahmed Rosario, Jose Caballero, you're giving it's like giving a study guide for Alex Cora and the Red Sox pitching staff development and coaching staff to give, hey, this is what you're getting, Crochet. Study up. You got 24 hours to know what you're going to pitch. Thought that was very interesting. William, take it away.
I feel like the Red Sox probably could have guessed that the Yankees were going to put out their left-handed lineup or their left-handed pitching lineup against Crochet. So we're going to see Slater. We're going to see Caballero. We're going to see Ahmed Rosario. We're going to see Austin Wells at catcher confirmed. Ben Rice is probably going to be benched. And then we'll see this. Obviously, the subs, no Jazz. The subs will come in. If you look at Crochet this year versus the Yankees, his first start, 9 strikeouts. Second start, 7 strikeouts. Third start, 11 strikeouts. And then his final start, 12 strikeouts. Like, and then he had one in there, 14 strikes. Sorry, first start was 8 strikeouts, then 14. He had 14 strikeouts when he went 8 1/3 in that start in June when Judge hit the clutch home run. So, I mean, that's the story here, I feel like, is Crochet. Can the Yankees finally get to him? And I talked about it, how I'd rather, if you're the Yankees, you'd probably rather face Crochet than Skubal, just because you've seen him so many times. You only saw Crochet once during the regular season. You saw Crochet like four or 5 times. You're more used to seeing him than Skubal. It's a minor advantage, but it makes somewhat of a difference. Again, the Yankees are minus 165 favorites to win this series. They got the Red Sox at plus 105. I don't know if I necessarily agree with those odds, to be honest.
I don't agree. I think this is more like a pick'em series. Sorry, I like to say this is more a pick'em series. I mean, Aaron Judge has not proven anything in the postseason. I mean, October Judge is a fake. Like, even Boston Twitter was like, damn it, we have to face Aaron Judge in one day in September. We don't get a full Aaron Judge in October experience. Again, Garrett Crochet has an argument, and in my opinion, he's put up such a good resume that in any other year he would probably be the Cy Young. And I think it's close between him and Skubal, but I give the edge to Skubal right now. It's hard for me because I go back and forth with it. I mean, I think he's the best. Crochet is the best pitcher left, and him and Skubal are the best 2 guys left on the AL side. And I mean, that's just a weapon. Can Ahmed Rosario get a hit? Can these little like Austin Slater? I mean, I'm sorry, but it's tough that I'm having to bench guys like Ben Rice, who hit 2 home runs on Sunday and has had a great season. And you have to bench Jazz Chisholm, who is a guy that has that demon energy, as I would like to talk about. He has that like toxic energy that he'll hit a homer and he'll pimp job it and he'll stare down the Red Sox bench. Like, that's something Jazz would do. And that's the type of energy you need in the postseason, because those are the things that propel you as a team to get you going and get the energy up in the clubhouse. Again, will Trent Grisham keep hitting in the postseason? Again, there's a lot of unknowns on the Yankee batting side. Can all these guys stay hot? Anthony Volpe, are we going to see some errors? I know this is very negative Yankees, but then again, there's also a lot of pros with the Yankees. I do give the edge to the bullpen to the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees bullpen in the past couple days, in the past couple weeks, has gotten it together. I mean, they're 9-1. I know it's bad comp, but I feel like you want to be playing good ball going into the postseason, regardless of who your competition is. So I do feel like them riding high and the Red Sox dealing with, the Roman Anthony injury and whatnot. Again, it's going to come down to, can the Yankees get to Crochet? Can the bats wake up? Because I do feel like the pitching will be there. I'm not really scared of the Red Sox lineup, so I'm more scared of their pitching. Again, if Crochet gives you 7 strong, I mean, at that point, you might as well just give Aroldis a 2-inning save or an inning and a half save. And he's been also shut down. That's another factor we have to look at. I mean, another revenge series for Aroldis Chapman against the Yankees. That's another storyline.
Yeah, and after all the playoff pain that he gave the Yankees, he'd come into the stadium and give a 2-out save, 6 strikeouts, no walks, be electric. And don't sleep on Brian Bayo. He had 2 really good starts against the Yankees this year as well. His first one in June, he went 7 scoreless with 8 strikeouts, and then he had another one in August going 7 scoreless with 5 strikeouts. Sorry, and then he did have one more on the Saturday in the final weekend of the final series that the 2 played. He went 5 innings, 4 earned with 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. So not as good. Maybe the Yankees, were able to make some adjustments there, but he's a really good game 2 starter. The Red Sox are good against lefties, and they're facing 2 lefties in Fried and Rodon. The lineup, like you said, it doesn't scare me as much as it did with Roman Anthony in it, but I still think it's a really good lineup. You got a dude like Alex Bregman that's got a ton of playoff experience playing in New York, beating the Yankees year after year when he was on the Astros. It is a young team. Rafaela, Duran, those guys don't have any playoff experience. This is their first time being in the playoffs since 2021. The team looks a lot different since then. Trevor Story, he's a veteran, 33 almost. Nathaniel Lau, coming over from Texas. He's been a really good acquisition. So they got Wilyer Abreu back healthy.
Nathaniel Lau came from Washington. No, Texas.
Yeah, he came from Washington, but he was on Texas for that World Series team. Carlos Narvaez. The lineup is not as scary, like I said, but it's still solid. And now no Giolito, so who would be the game 3 starter is the question. He hurt his elbow.
But they probably put up I think the rookie Peyton Tooley. Is he on the roster?
Connolly early, probably.
Here's just my thing, and I'll just get down to it. I mean, out of all the series, this is really hard to predict because I feel like the pressure on this series, because of the both teams' history and where you're playing the game. Yeah, sorry, Cubs fans, but Wrigley Field does not compare to Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park. Like, I'm sorry. From a level of pressure standpoint, media market, this is this is the biggest stage in Major League Baseball. The 2 biggest stages in Major League Baseball are Fenway Park and Yankee Stadium. We've seen really, really good players, go into these places and be a shell of themselves. So again, we talk about how good, Brian Bayo had a good regular season. Aaron Judge had a good regular season. But yet again, what are you doing in October? Like, these are places where your at-bats will be magnified times 10. And if you can't provide or produce, you will be swallowed up by the fans and the media. And I always remember Luis Severino had a great season back in 2017, and then he had that postseason start against the Twins. He didn't make it out of the second inning. He was pulled. And the Yankees miraculously won that game, and it was a wild card series. Again, great regular season player, but again, are you a big dog? Again, this comes down. It's puppies versus dogs. Who's going to show up in this series? This is the biggest series on the docket. It's prime time, 7 p.m. The fans are going to be buzzing. The stadium's going to be electric. Yankee Stadium's going to be up for it. It's going to be a raucous environment. It's going to be hostile, and you got to be ready and locked in to go.
Boston has a 743 OPS against lefties this year, which is 7th best in baseball. The Yankees do have the best OPS against lefties at 797, but it's Garrett Crochet. It's not any other lefty. It's not someone the Nationals are throwing out. It's he's the second best, arguably the best pitcher in the American League. I think there's a tier of 3 pitchers this season where if they're on the mound, you just feel like you're going to lose the game. It's Skeen, Skubal, and Crochet.
Only 3?
Only 3. I think those are the 3 best. I
would make an argument to that. I'd add an addition to that.
Yamamoto.
I think Yamamoto is up there. I know it's pitching LA, West Coast, and I know there's that bias and whatnot, but I think Yamamoto is very close to getting there.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this postseason, and I know he just won the freaking World Series last year, but if he does it again this year, I think in the postseason, yeah, he's definitely in that conversation. I'll say this. I do think this Yankee postseason run is brutal, the draw they were given, but it has the potential to be the most satisfying World Series victory maybe ever. And I'll lay it out for you here. Wild card round, you beat Boston, a team that dominated you all year. It's your arch rival. They were talking a lot of crap about the Yankees being bad when they were struggling in June, July, August. You knock them out in the wild card round. Then you go face Toronto, a team that is not afraid to talk their fair share of crap about the Yankees. Another division rival, a team that dominated you all regular season, a team that beat you out for the division on the tiebreaker. Again, a team that was not afraid to rub it in your face, a team that had their own play-by-play guy or their own color commentator say that the Yankees aren't a very good team. He said that on live air. You go in there, you go into Toronto, you win that series. Then you take it to the ALCS. Let's say Seattle gets through. All we've heard out of Seattle this whole season, Cal Raleigh MVP. A lot of people talking down about what Aaron Judge is doing. They're trying to discredit what Judge is doing. You're just hearing big dumper, big dumper, big dumper. That's all we've heard out of Seattle. And then you go into Seattle, you win that series. You knock Cal Raleigh out. And I know the MVP would have been voted on at that time, but the narrative about Cal Raleigh winning MVP is over. Then you take it to the World Series. Let's say the Dodgers make it. You get over the hump against the Dodgers, a team that beat you last year in the World Series. The Dodgers were not afraid to rub it in after that World Series last year, if you guys remember. Get over that hump, and you win your first World Series since 2009. I think it would be the most satisfying one yet.
I feel like Martin Scorsese should hire you as a writer for one of his films. I mean, again, I think there's something that we haven't touched upon, but I think this is the Aaron Judge postseason. I think the Aaron Judge is on the clock. I mean, if he doesn't get it done this year, I mean, it's going to get real loud for him of him not performing. Like, look, if the Yankees go out and lose this week versus the Red Sox, if they go out and lose, but Aaron Judge goes nuclear, I mean, you give him the benefit of the doubt, like, hey, he played great. I mean, baseball's a team game. It's not a singular sport. It's not like basketball where you can drop 80 points in the game like that, like Kobe, or 60 like Devin Booker, and you can change the narrative of a series. Baseball is a team game where, as a position player, you only get to impact the game once every 8 outs. And if lucky, you get 3 or 4 at-bats, maybe 5. You're not a pitcher where you can completely shut down a team. Again, so this is the year that he has to get it done, because if not, we're going to have to start talking about, like, what is your Aaron Judge's moment in the postseason? What is Aaron Judge's moment in crunch time? Because all the Yankees moments in the past couple of years are not Aaron Judge. I think last year the only thing we remember about last year is Juan Soto's home run. It wasn't Aaron Judge. Yeah, and Carlos Stanton's been that guy to get him through over with clutch home runs. And I know Giancarlo is he's frozen up through the whole regular season. He's ready to go because Giancarlo knows he has another guy with a Cooperstown resume that wants to have a ring, because I feel like he's a player that if he had a ring, I think it'll be very easy to put him into the Hall pretty easily. And he's one of those guys that his resume kind of needs one.
He's getting very close to 500. If he got to 500, add on the World Series ring. I know the writers don't necessarily weigh the World Series rings for the Baseball Hall of Fame as much as they do like in basketball, but it's like more so just straight stats. And obviously all the off the field BS too plays a huge role in it. But yeah, Stanton would, I think, benefit from winning a World Series. But it's Judge. He's got to change that narrative of not being the playoff guy. And I looked up his playoff stats. A lot of people are trying to say, oh, he hasn't been that. He's been terrible in the postseason. I mean, 205 batting average with a 768 OPS. And then if you look at his regular season stats, career-wise, 294 batting average with a 1028 OPS. Like, it's two different players. It's Jekyll and Hyde. Aaron Judge in the regular season, Aaron Judge in the postseason. Last year was obviously his longest stints yet in the postseason because they made it to the World Series. He played 14 games, and he hit 184 with a 752 OPS and only 3 home runs in 14 games. If you're, it's just he hasn't been that dude in the playoffs for whatever reason. Now, the thing is, he's been on fire the last couple weeks, and the weather is still going to be warm in New York for a couple weeks here. For this wild card series, I do think maybe it's like a cold weather thing with him. I don't know, something I can't describe why, but something in my body tells me that Aaron Judge is just going to go nuclear this season or this postseason. And I think that's the biggest question mark for the entire playoffs across both leagues is what if Aaron Judge just goes freaking nuclear in the postseason, hits 300 plus, a bunch of home runs. Yankees are winning the World Series if he does that. I really believe that.
There's 8 other guys that on that Yankee team too. I mean, there's Anthony Volpe as well on the team and Austin Wells. I mean, again,
yeah, but Aaron Judge is the guy that can carry a team to the World Series single-handedly. He's one of those dudes because there are other guys around him that are upgrades from last seaon. First base, Ben Rice, Paul Goldschmidt. That's an upgrade from Anthony Rizzo. Left field, Cody Bellinger. That's like 2 to 3 times of an upgrade over what we had last year, and Alex Verdugo out there in left field. You got Jose Caballero. That's an upgrade from the lack of infield depth we had last season. You got the guys that can you can bring in against lefties. John Barry. It's just the team is better than last season. It is. Plan B was a success, as Michael Kay said on WFAN today. But all of that won't matter if you lose this series to Boston. It's a best 2 out of 3. Anything can happen in baseball. And that's what makes it so nerve-wracking for me, for Yankee fans. It's a crapshoot. They got one of the best pitchers in the sport on the mound on Tuesday night, and you'd have to give advantage Boston in game 1. But again, anything can happen. What's your pick?
I mean, the thing is going to come down also to Aaron Boone and his bullpen management. I think Cora will do a really good job with the bullpen. I know the Red Sox bullpen is much better than the Yankee bullpen. The Yankee bullpen is better than the Red Sox bullpen. But again, there's a guy by the name of Alex Cora that's been there multiple times and has managed that team. Again, Aaron Boone's legacy series too, man. I mean, you gotta make some tough decisions. I mean, I think we agree that Tim Hill's a lefty guy. Devin's gonna get the 8th. 9's Bednar. But who's getting the ball in the 7th and the 6th? Is it Cruz? Is it Leiter?
Doval in Doval's last outing on Saturday or Sunday, man, he looked really good. So I'm telling you, you talked about it a couple weeks ago. You kind of felt like the bullpen was going to get it together for October. I kind of feel the same way. Like there's just some really good dudes in that bullpen.
It's just Yankee Stadium and Yankees Red Sox in October. Again, we could the same thing if it was in Fenway. And the Red Sox just seems like a bunch of dudes that have fun. Man. They just seem like you see them in the Red Sox. I don't know. The Red Sox are just gritty. And, they really embody what Boston is. Yep. Blue collar, hardworking, middle America, get down and dirty. And they're going to muck it up this series. And I feel like if they muck it up enough, like they have a really good chance. And again, it's winning 2 games. And if they can get Crochet, all they need is 1 more. But again, winning 1 game in the postseason is ridiculously hard. And for that reason, I think the talent level and the talent level on this team, I just want to say the Yankees do it in 3, man. Yankees in 3.
I was Red Sox in 3 until I saw the Giolito injury. And I think the Yankees lose game 1. They win game 2 and they win game 3 and they advance to play the Blue Jays in the DS.
I just think the thing with Bayo is Bayo strikes me as a very watching the document. I don't want to accuse him of anything or just my personal opinion. I'll say he just strikes me as an emotions pitcher. That I feel like if he gets too high or too low, especially if he gets too low and the Yankees start hitting him, I think it could get ugly. But again, knowing how our world is in 2025, what if the Yankees win game 1 and lose game 2?
What if? What are you getting at?
Like how confused would you be? How would you feel going into game 3? You beat Crochet, but then you lose to Bayo.
Yeah, you still feel good heading into a game 3 because the Red Sox would probably put out a rookie at that point.
So the Yankees are also putting out a rookie.
That's true.
That's the problem. True. It's just like whatever advantages you want to say, it's just like they're putting out a rookie too, who hasn't been there at all. The same thing with Schlittler and Bayo. Again, I don't know. Schlittler can give you 6, like he can give you 3 2/3. And that's with any pitcher. But
dude, I know it was Baltimore, but he was so good in that last start. He's been so good for the team this season. I just have an irrational confidence right now in Cam Schlittler.
I just watched him in Miami, and my thing is just inconsistency and just loud contact. He allows some loud contact. Too much.
That was probably his worst start. It was probably his worst start of the season.
So
that series, Yankee fans just want to write that off. Just that series never happened. Do the Men in Black thing and just no memory of that series.
Can you imagine if you won that Friday game, that 11-12 game?
We wouldn't be playing tomorrow. We'd be playing on Saturday.
You'd be chilling.
That was the most heartbreaking loss of the season, the Friday night game in Miami.
You would have been chilling. You would have been, in paradise, relaxing. Life would
I
have
would,
been
yeah,
like
I would have been having, yeah.
drinking Martin. No, you don't drink margaritas. You don't do vodka or tequila. You're an IPA guy.
No, I don't like IPAs, but just beer. Keep it simple.
I mean, keep it simple, Midwest guy type here. But I mean, let's close the podcast and talk about the final series. I mean, Dodgers Reds. I mean, you have two historical franchises facing off. Reds, very historical. I mean, won 8 out of their last 11 to snag that last playoff spot away from the Mets. Bullpen's been deep with they've moved Chase Burns and Nick Martinez. I mean, Chase Burns does have experience in pitching in big moments in college for Tennessee and coming out of the pen for Tennessee. I think there's a video going viral of him striking a guy out and seeing the emotion. I don't know if you've seen it on I watch it live. Tony Santillan is second with MLB appearances with 80. Sal Stewart with 5 homers in September. Ellie with 3 homers in his last 9. Dodgers just got an embarrassment of riches in the bullpen and starting pitching. I mean, they got Shaheen and Glasnow now in the bullpen with Roki Sasaki, who has finally found control out of his fastball.
Of course.
And he'll be coming out of his bullpen miraculously in October.
He could be their closer because Tanner Scott has just been terrible this year. And yeah. Kirby Yates is kind of on the outside looking in. Blake Trinan's been really bad in September. So they're looking for a closer. They're looking for someone to finish these games for him. And Sasaki looked really good in his couple appearances out of the pen in September.
I mean, don't count out the Reds. I mean, the Reds did win a series against the Dodgers at Great American. I mean, those games were tough. I remember watching that series back in the middle of the summer. Dodgers were the only 2 teams to sweep, one of only 2 teams to sweep Cincinnati this year when they played at Dodger Stadium. But the Reds really are just bad against lefties. They're 26 in WRC+. Dodgers went Snell game 1 for that reason. He's 2.35 ERA in 11 starts since coming back from injuries. Dodgers also have Tanner Scott, Alex Vesia, who I really like. I know he's kind of a weird pitcher, not a velo guy. Anthony Banda, Dreyer, and Wroblewski coming out. Will Smith won't be on the roster. Neither will Clayton Kershaw. Will Smith due to a hairline fracture in his right hand. Max Muncy and Edmund playing through discomfort. Again, Kike Hernandez. It's like every postseason, that dude finds his way on the Dodgers or on the Red Sox. And again, playing in those big moments and then coming with clutch hits. I mean, he's like new age Ben Zobrist, Mark DeRosa, light versions of those 2 guys. Very versatile, plays a bunch of positions. Again, will be very interesting to see him get some time. Game 1 is Tuesday. Blake Snell, Hunter Green. It's going to be the night series, 9:08 start time. Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitching game 2, and then Thursday, Shohei Ohtani. The Dodgers have said if they win in 2, they're already pitching Shohei Ohtani to start out the next series against the Phillies. I don't know if that's bad omen, already telling, kind of getting ahead of yourselves. But again, the Reds aren't no slumps. I would like to just point that out there. I mean, no Reds bias here. The Reds have a very good rotation. Again, Hunter Green should go game 1. Game 2, Andrew Abbott. Game 3, who's pitching game 3?
Lodolo.
I don't think Singer can pitch because he pitched yesterday.
I don't think you would go Singer over Lodolo. I mean, God, it's tough, but I'd say Lodolo probably because you're not going to go Littell. He's allowed a ton of home runs this season.
Talk about the series. Let's do it. Let's talk about it.
I think this is. I'm very excited for this series, and we can power rank series we're most excited for this. For this round, but I think this is probably number 2 behind Yankees Red Sox for me, and then 3rd I'd put Cubs Padres. 4th I'd put Tigers Guardians. I'm very fascinated by this. I talked about it on Sunday. I feel like all the pressure's on the Dodgers. Reds are playing with house money, but I also just feel like the Dodgers don't have any pressure on them, or they're not working themselves up for the series. They've been there before. They haven't played in a best 2 out of 3 wildcard series, but they have all the playoff experience. If you look at their roster compared to what Cincinnati has in terms of playoff experience, it's basically nothing on the Cincinnati side of things. And obviously Gavin Lux, they brought him in last season from the Dodgers. But if you're looking at playoff experience, the Dodgers have a huge advantage in that category. They have a much better lineup. They do have a lot of injuries, and the bullpen has been a major question mark this season for them. That's the biggest question mark with the Dodgers. I think that is probably the one spot where you would actually give the advantage to Cincinnati. And I really love Chase Burns coming out of the bullpen, flamethrower, plus arm, can be a length guy for you. Pagan, he pitched like 4 straight days last week to close out the season, just a dog.
Nick Martinez. Don't forget about
Martinez
him.
is, he's
Swing
another,
arm.
he's
Swing
another guy
arm.
that can give you a couple innings out of the pen if you need. I'm very fascinated by this series because there's just something about the Reds. There's been so many times you could have pointed to the Reds this season and said, "Oh, they're dead, they're done," and then they just got off the mat and they won a series. They swept the team, or they had some crazy walk off, or they went into Milwaukee in the last weekend of the season and won 2 out of 3 to earn their playoff spot. I know they only finished 83 and 79, and on paper they're one of the worst playoff teams we've seen in a long time.
They are. They have some like crazy statistics. Like I think it's like no hitter hitting. They don't have a hitter hitting. I think it's like a 270 or 250, and they don't have a 25 homer guy. It's crazy.
It's crazy, but they're here and they're playing the Dodgers in the best start of 3 series. And they got Hunter Green, one of the best arms in all of baseball, in my opinion, on the mound game 1. They can win that game. And then you got Andrew Abbott, kind of like a, I don't know, pitching wizard professor in game 2.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say they're going to pull it off. The Dodgers are minus 245. They're the better team, but it's baseball. Like anything can happen. I got to keep reiterating that, but anything can happen. Don't write the Reds off. They're playing with house money, and they're just having fun. I mean, the lineup it's not good. But what if Ellie De La Cruz has the talent to be a top 5 to 10 player in the league? What if he just goes nuclear for a series?
I mean, like you said, it is 3 games maximum. My biggest thing is, I mean, both of these bullpens aren't great. And I mean, the thing the Dodgers is, the Dodgers just, man, oh man, the Dodgers just like are an embarrassment. Like, okay, say you have a blow up start from, I don't know, I don't expect Yamamoto to have a blow up start, but say, Snell has a blow up start game 1. Hey, we'll just put in Tyler Glass now. He'll give you 6 strong and finish out the game. No need to go to a closer because he'll finish it out.
Yeah.
The Reds have a bunch of young guys who haven't been there. Again, like you said, I'm Terry Francona, managerial edge. He'll be managing this series like his life depends on it. Compared, he'll be doing left, right, center things that we've never seen. And they're going to be pesky like any central ball club. They do the small ball. They're going to be pesky. They're going to steal the bases. They're going to do weird plays that we never see. And again, it's going to be one of those series that'll be interesting to watch how Cincinnati team manages the series. I think the way Cincinnati wins the series with the chance they have is they have to manage each game independently really well. And I think if they manage each inning well, really, really well, I think they have a chance. But yet again, the Dodgers have a all-star team, an embarrassment of riches. And again, like you said, they've been there. And like it's just, oh yeah, Tyler Glasnow, come pitch. Okay, Roki, come pitch. Embarrassment of riches.
Shohei, come pitch. Are you going to one of these games? Or are you going to be in LA this week?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I'm trying to see if I can go Wednesday, but I mean, just depending on my schedule and everything going on. But I mean, it's only right. I mean, I think the listeners would vote, and I think they would agree it'd be only right if we could go because it's like I did go to college in Cincinnati. I mean, the boys, we did go to games, and I think it's right that the boys. I know not all the boys are able to, but at least one of them. I mean, we make that trip out to Dodger Stadium. Against Cincy, it's kind of like it's the wedding. It's kind of funny how life works out, Like,
that is kind of funny how that did work out. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're power ranking series in terms of watchability, excitement for in the wild card round, how are you doing it?
Excitement. I'm most excited for Yankees Red Sox, of course. That's the Godfather series of all Godfather series. Number 1. 2, I'm taking San Diego, Chicago. 3, Cincinnati, LA, and Detroit, Cleveland. I have no interest watching Detroit, Cleveland. I'll be tracking the game on my phone. Unfortunately, sorry guys. I mean, it just really interferes. I just don't understand why MLB can't just have 2 night games going at once.
I know they put it in the middle of the workday. Like the vast majority of the public's not going to be able to watch that game. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing if Detroit can get off the schneid against Cleveland. But yeah, I'd have it pretty much the same, except I put this series, Reds Dodgers, for a second. And we haven't made our picks for that series yet, but I'm going to say Dodgers in 2. I think
give me Dodgers in 3, man.
Okay. You think the Reds get one? I don't know.
The Reds get one.
I just think the Dodgers were on the West Coast and Cincinnati had to fly to LA after winning in Milwaukee. Time travel there, time change there, not time travel, Jesus. I think they're hungover on Monday for practice that they had the reps. I don't know. I just give me Dodgers in 2. I think there's a world in which they kind of just blow them out of the water, and then boom, it'd be Dodgers Phillies for the DS, which would be really fun.
Absolute cinema, but I mean, let's talk the world, Cincinnati. It's on you. Nobody believes in you. It's like the Michael Irvin. Nobody believes in you. Nobody believes in you. Let's get one win. Let's leave the Cincinnati fans loud and proud getting one win. Again, Dodgers could be underestimating the series and just being like, oh, they're just the freaking Reds, and then they make a game off of them, and then you got a series, man.
Series kind of reminds me of that Marlins Phillies wild card series a couple years ago.
Yep, I do remember that series.
Yeah. They interviewed Jazz in the dugout right before the game started. I think it was for game 1. He was like, "This is what I'm built for. You know, I'm going to hit all these home runs or whatever." He was hyped up, and then they got spanked in both those games. All right, so let's do our full playoff predictions then. We did our wild card rounds. So you would have the DS Dodgers Phillies, and who'd you pick? You pick San Diego over the Cubs, right?
Yeah.
So San Diego, Milwaukee, LA, Philly. Who are you going with?
I'm taking Phillies in 4. Think the Philadelphia crowd will get to it. Taking Philly in 4, and then I'm gonna take San Diego in 5.
Ooh, okay. San Diego over Milwaukee, and then Philly, San Diego, NLCS.
Give me Philly in 5.
Okay, so Philly to the World Series, and then your DS would be you had Cleveland, Seattle, and Yankees, Toronto.
Seattle in 4.
Okay.
Gentleman sweep, and I'm taking Yankees in. I want to get spicy.
Okay.
I want to say Yankees in 3, but I want to be respectful. Yankees in 4.
Okay. And then Mariners, Yankees, CS.
Yankees in 5.
Ooh, okay. Phillies, Yankees rematch of 2009.
Phillies in 6.
Oh God, my heart couldn't take it. All right, so I had Yankees, Guardians, Padres, and Dodgers out of the wild card. I'm going to say in the DS, I'm taking the Yankees over the Blue Jays in 4 games. They win it in New York. I'm taking Seattle over Cleveland in 3. I'm taking Milwaukee over San Diego in 4.
Milwaukee, whoa.
Milwaukee. I'm taking
Voodoo Magic.
I'm taking the Dodgers over Philly in 5. They win on the road in Citizens Bank in game 5. And then in the ALCS, I'm taking Seattle in 7. And I'm taking Milwaukee over Philly in 7. And in the World Series, I'm taking Milwaukee over Seattle in 7. I'm taking the Milwaukee Brewers to win the World Series. I think what if they just do it? And I think they're just going to do it. Bob Uecker magic. The pitching staff, very underrated. Brandon Woodruff is a question mark with the lat injury, which is a concern. But Freddie Peralta, Jacob Mizorowski in the pen. I think the guys in the lineup are going to have some clutch hits. I'm going with the Brewers. I just feel like they got the magic this year, and they're carrying it all the way to the championship.
That's crazy. I'm no comment. My biggest thing about the Yankees in 3, I think people are going to be very crazy about that. All these Yankees Blue Jays games are really close. I mean, there were a lot of fluky wins that the Yankees gave up. I bet you that last week, the week before 4th of July, they played, I think it was like 6 times or whatever, 6 or 7 times, and all those games were relatively close. And a lot of those games the Yankees just gave away. The pen was just awful.
Yeah.
So, I just think about it. How many times are the Blue Jays going to get lucky? Like, okay, I'll give you 2 or 3, but 6 out of 7, that's close to like 100%. That sounded really stupid, but yeah.
No comment.
That sounded really math. I'm not a math guy, so.
No, I agree. And, the Yankees played the Blue Jays really well in that last series that they had against each other in the Bronx. It's just a matter of the Yankees getting over the hump in Toronto. That's a really tough place to play. They went like 54-27 or something crazy in Toronto this year. Just dominant there. But there is something about sitting at home this whole week, doing like sim games, doing, just batting practice. They're not playing real games. There's something about that. And I think a good thing for the Yankees is they've been playing their best baseball of the season down the stretch. There was that 12-game stretch against good teams. They did well in it. They dominated the bad teams down the stretch, and they don't have to wait a week to play. Maybe there's something in that to where they just get to roll right into the wild card series and continue playing baseball, maybe just stay hot. That's kind of how baseball works. I feel like if you're playing good baseball, you don't want to take a week off. You want to keep playing. So that's something to watch, I think, with the Yankees. Can they keep this thing going? We'll see. I got them losing in the CS, though, to the Mariners. I kind of do feel like I'm picking a year from like the Magic teams this year in Seattle and Milwaukee to keep it going into the playoffs, which is usually usually bites you in the ass because those teams usually lose in the postseason early. But I'm feeling the vibes this year. I don't know why.
Hey, I like Seattle more, but I just think the Yankees are better. They just own them this year.
The Yankees are better. I agree on paper, but the Yankees got to get out of they're on the really tough side of the bracket. I'd be very shocked if Seattle lost to either Cleveland or Detroit. I feel like they kind of got the easy path to the CS. The Yankees got a brutal path, man. Whatever team comes out of that bottom side of the bracket, especially if it's one of the teams from the wild card round, in the Yankees and the Red Sox, they're going to earn it because that's a tough side.
So, yeah. I mean, it all starts tomorrow.
It does.
Or today, whenever you listen to it. So, I mean, keep it locked in. We're going to be on call pretty much. I'm bringing my mic across the country. We're going to be recording at the wee hours of the night or the morning, at least for you or me. So keep it locked in. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Locked In Sports Pod, trying to get to 200 subscribers by the end of the season. Locked In Sports at TikTok, Locked In Sports Instagram. And where else can you follow us? Twitter X, Locked In Sports.
Twitter X, yeah. We don't have a blue sky yet. That's a long flight, Miami to LA. That's got to be 4 or 5 hours?
5.5, baby.
Oof.
Missing all of college football on Saturday. I'm gonna miss the Miami game, unfortunately.
It's not a good weekend of college football, anyways.
What are you talking about? There's some good games this weekend. You got the Miami Hurricanes. You got Carson Beck, my guy. Carson Beck plays FSU up in Tallahassee.
I guess Vanderbilt, Alabama will be fun.
Vanderbilt, Alabama, and then you got Virginia versus Louisville. That'll be a good game.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Virginia, Louisville this weekend. Actually, blocking off my whole calendar for that game.
Wisconsin, Michigan. You're not excited about Wisconsin?
No, that big noon kickoff. Michigan favored by 16.5. Wisconsin's in shambles this season, so
I know Wisconsin fans aren't happy with fickle. Texas, Florida as well. Could it be the end of the road for Billy Napier this weekend?
Maybe. You'll be missing the playoff games too. We got 4 DS game ones on Saturday. That sucks.
I'll find a way. To keep my eyelids open on the plane back. I'll have Tylenol.
I'll make it work. All right. Well, I just got that reference. It took me a second. All right. Well, that was a fun one, Luis, with the capping it off with the cherry on top there at the end. All right, man. I mean, like you said, this is where the legends are made. This is postseason baseball. It's what it's all about. And I cannot wait until first pitch tomorrow. Unfortunately, it's at noon my time, middle of the workday. Come on, guys. What are we doing here? But anyway, Luis, this was a fun one as always. Thank you. We'll be back after the wild card round, Thursday night, Friday morning. We got to figure it out because Luis is traveling. But we'll be back recapping those series. Then, thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.